overcoming stress and burnout? Is a very question that we always ask ourselves about overcoming stress and burnout. What if I tell you that you can live a life that is stress free and also become productive and also be able to meet up with what you're supposed to meet up? It's also a very thing that you need to put in place, because we live in a very complex society, a lot of things, a lot of pressure every year and day, and people are trying to get things done, and it's honestly not easy. But we are going to see biblical perspective of how we can be able to overcome stress and burnout in our daily life. We have some scripture references that we're going to be using here, but not going to read them now, but I'm going to use them at the course of this presentation. So by introduction, what is the reality in today's society? In today's fast-paced world and demanding world, the pressure of life seems to come at us from all sides. It's very obvious that we see it's very difficult, a lot of pressure from different angles, but yet we need to have to take it up and meet up. Stress and burnout are not signs of weakness or failure. You always understand that sometimes when you are stressed, you think as if you're weak, but it's not a sign of weakness or a kind of thing that maybe you are failing. No, it's not that. God, in His own loving kindness and wisdom, has not left us without a solution. So God has given us a remedy on how to handle stress and burnout in our daily work with Him. So what is stress? What is stress? Stress is the emotional and physical strain caused by our responses to pressure from the outside world. So definitely we will respond to pressures. When pressures come upon us, we respond both physically and spiritually, and also emotionally. So all these responses are built up into what we call a stress. Then burnout is the state of emotional or physical or mental exhaustion brought on us by prolonged or repeated stress. When stress begins to become like a part of your routine, then you're going to, in a way, become exhausted physically, mentally, and otherwise. So when that happens, we say that you're already burned out. So we see a lot of men today in this busy world, men and women trying to put things in place, trying to meet up. They are doing things so that they can see things work out in their lives. So all these activities and all these pressures amounts to what we call stress and burnout. So what are the signs of stress? How do I know? How do you know that you are stressed? Or how do you know that you are burned out already? So it's very important. There are some key factors or signs that we can be able to know whether we are under stress or we are burned out. Now, physically, we can look at them physically. Physically, we have constant tiredness. If you are experiencing constant tiredness in your life, then it's a sign or a pointer that maybe perhaps you are stressed. Or if you have a sleep disturbance, either insomnia or oversleeping. So if you have a difficulty in sleeping, is a sign or pointer that you may be experiencing stress or burnout. Then also headache or muscle tensions. You have like a kind of constant headache that comes and goes, and it's not that you're having any fever or any medical condition, but you just felt you used to have some headache, some muscle tension. So it may be stress or burnout. Frequent illness. You fall sick frequently and you come back, you fall, you bounce back again. So it's also a sign of physical stress or burnout. Then you have also some people experience loss of appetite. Maybe your favorite dishes, you don't like them anymore. You don't feel like eating anymore because you are experiencing stress and burnout. So these are some of the few physical signs or that we can be able to know whether we are stressed or burned out. Then emotionally, we can also point out some emotional signs that we are stressed or burned out. One is irritability and mood swing. If you experience before, you don't have such kind of mood swings, but now you just a sudden your mood just changes to another thing, and you are just not the way you used to be. Your mood swings just now and then, so it could be a sign of stress or burnout. Then an anxiety and worry. In today's world, anxiety is one of the fast leading problem in this world, because people are very worried. A lot of things, uncertainty, you don't know what will happen, you don't know where you get what you need for a daily living, and all those things builds up into anxiety and worry. So that is also a sign of stress or burnout. Then some people experience depression or hopelessness. You find yourself depressed, you don't feel any energy again, you don't find any move, you don't have hope over what you're doing or your family or the job you're doing, or maybe the society, the government. So that is a sign of stress or burnout. Then feeling overwhelmed or emotionally numbed is also a sign of stress. You don't really feel yourself, you are just numb like that. It's also a serious sign of stress and burnout. Then loss of motivation or satisfaction. Many people are not motivated any longer. You are just there, you're just doing things for doing sake. You don't have satisfaction in what you're doing. So it's a sign that you are experiencing stress or burnout. Then also we have spiritually. Mind you, we are talking about biblical perspectives. Now, spiritually, you may be feeling a kind of distance from God. When you are feeling you are kind of far from the Lord, then it's also a sign of stress. Usually you used to be strong, you have your quiet times, you are serious with God, but just as a sudden you started experiencing some weakness, distance from God. So it could be signs of stress or burnout. Then you have a dry or ineffective prayer life. Your prayer life is becoming weak. You are not like before. Before you can pray very well, you can have time with the Lord and pray, but now you don't usually have that, because it's a sign of stress or burnout. Then disengagement from church or ministry. Some persons, just of a sudden, their commitment for church activities or programs becomes very low. They just start to disengage. So that could be a sign of stress and burnout. Then also some people may experience loss of faith, or sometimes you may be questioning God. You may be thinking as if God is real or not, because the pressure is mounting up and you are not seeing any responses. So you may be thinking as if God is not even real to you again. So it's a sign of stress or burnout. Then guilt or shame of feeling tired. Some persons can be guilty. Why am I so tired? Why am I not able to do what I've been doing before? So they are feeling guilty of that. So that is also could be a sign of stress or burnout. Then what are the causes of stress and burnout? What causes stress and burnout? There are a lot of things that we've been mentioning as we're discussing. Overlapping pressure of daily responsibility. Now, pressure from daily responsibility, what is required of you? The pressure, when they overlap, when you have not solved the first problem, another problem has come upon it, another is building, so they are overlapping, there's no breathing space. So if this mount up like that, it could lead to stress and burnout. Then also unhealed trauma. A person that were going through trauma can also, due to that trauma, develop stress and burnout. Then unrealistic expectation. This is one of the major things that causes stress and burnout in believers today, because we have a lot of appetites that we want to meet up. So when your appetite is very big or it's unrealistic, it's not real, you cannot be able to meet up with it. So it leads to stress or burnout. For example, a person will be thinking that by now I'm supposed to buy a car, I'm supposed to be in my own builded house, you understand, and I saw my friends or colleagues have done this and that, me I've not done anything, and all those pressures that are coming from that kind of expectations, not waiting on God's time, then it may probably lead to stress and burnout. Then perfectionism. If a person wants to make things perfect, you are trying to feel that whatever you do it's always perfect, not knowing that we are humans, that we can sometimes not get it right the first time. We can be able to make mistakes. So we need to create that space. But some persons find it difficult to accept it. So when that happens, the person could fall into stress or burnout. Then isolation. Some persons, due to isolation, can get into stress or burnout. You isolate yourself. You don't want to relate. You don't want to come together with brethren, with friends, to socialize and also to ease some tensions. You are just staying alone in your own place. You don't even visit brothers or sisters in the Lord and discuss or talk about your problems. No, that could lead to stress or burnout. Then unbalanced religious activity. When you don't balance your religious activity very well, you could be able to be overloading yourself with too much religious activity, which cannot be able to accommodate the times you have and your own commitments. So when that happens, it means it can get you into stress or burnout. So you need to balance your activities in church. You need to know which activity based on my commitment, other commitment, out, business, work, family, and all those things. You need to balance them. If not, you will be stressed and you burn out. So we need to get all those in place. So now let's quickly look at biblical examples of stress and burnout and God's response. As we've been discussing, this is biblical perspective of stress, on how to overcome stress and burnout. So we have some biblical role models that we're going to be looking into, that they experience stress even as big as they are or as influential as they are. They also experience stress in the time of their life, and how did they overcome it? What is God's way out of stress? Now you can see from the beginning, we saw that God made the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and the seventh day God rested. God rested. It's not that maybe God needs rest by himself because he's omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. God is powerful. He doesn't need rest. But God rested, showing us that we too have to rest. God is giving us a kind of blueprint of how we supposed to rest. And even in the Mosaic law, we saw how God made it that it is a law for them to rest on the Sabbath day. So no matter how you feel that you are very energetic, that you have the strength, you need to remember that you need to rest. You need to rest. So let's look at Elijah. Elijah is one of the major prophets, in fact one of the greatest prophets in the scriptures, who was able to shut the heavens and was able to kill prophets of Baal, and to the point that Jezebel vowed to cut off his head. So now you see all these big things and great miracles this man of God was able to accomplish. But when the time came that Jezebel threatened, the man of God withdrew. Elijah was not lazy or weak. He was worn out. That is why he withdrew. He felt alone, afraid, and abandoned. But how did God respond to him? We can see that in 1 Kings chapter 19 from verse 1 to 18. We know the first thing God did to be able to help Elijah was that he rested. He told him to rest. Now Elijah left and went and find himself under a very nice place, and he would lie down under a tree and he was resting. He was resting. He slept there. And the Bible says that a hand tapped him and he waked up, and there was food for him for refreshing. So he ate and he rested again. Then the voice waked him again and said, eat again. He ate and he rested again. So the first thing you need is resting. When you encounter a stress or burnout, when you experience them, the first thing you do is to rest. You need to set out a time to rest in your life. Don't be thinking that you are strong. If you don't choose a day to rest for yourself, your body will choose a day for you, and that day you may not like it. So you must have to choose a day to rest. Don't think that you are still strong, you can do it. No, yes, you can do it, but rest is part of God's agenda for you. So find time to rest even in your busiest schedule. So God allowed Elijah to rest. Then he gave him a physical care. He sent an angel to provide food for him. Just as I mentioned, Elijah ate. Some persons are too busy that they can't even take care of themselves. They can't even get a good meal and eat. They could be busy throughout the day that they can't even eat because they are busy. So when they will be eating, it's already late. So now all those things can mount up and build up into stress and burnout. So you need to get physical refreshment. Mark your time for eating. When it is time for you to take something, pause every work you are doing, get something and eat. Refresh yourself is very, very important. Then spiritual renewal. God was able to renew his spiritual perspective by speaking to him. The Bible said he went to the cave and the Lord told him, stand there, I'm going to pass over. And there was a fire, there was wind, there was earthquake, and through all these things there was a gentle voice and God spoke to him. So God reassured his presence to Elijah. So in the midst of stress and burnout, we need spiritual refreshing. You need to go back to the Lord. You need to go back to your quiet time. You need to go back to when you are strong in the Lord. Remember those two good memories and return back to that. Then companionship and purpose. God has reassigned Elijah and gave him Elisha as a partner. So you see, there was a kind of a companionship. You see, some persons are married and actually you have a spouse, but there is no companionship. So that can lead to stress and burnout. So you need to reactivate your relationship with your spouse. You need to activate your relationship with your friends, your parents, your colleagues at work and business. So the companionship brings renewal. So it makes you to become strong and also refreshing your strength. So these are some of the strategies that God uses to refresh or to restore Elijah after encountering stress and burnout. Then biblical example of stress and burnout, again we have another person we're going to be studying, which is Moses. Moses is the overburdened leader, always called in Exodus chapter 18 verse 13 to 26. We can see that Moses have been taking the burden of the children of Israel down from Egypt down to the promised land, and we seen how Moses was experienced a lot of challenges with them, but Moses was strong to a point that Moses will tell God that he should blot out his name from the book of life if he will kill the people. But to a time comes that this Moses become very tired, become overburdened with work, become very tired, and he stress and burnout came in and he becomes very weak. And there was a remedy. God was looking at Moses and God sent him a remedy. God sent his father-in-law, which is Jethro, and Jethro pointed out a flaw in his leadership. Jethro came and met Moses and told him that this thing you are doing, you will overwhelm, you will burn out yourself, because Moses will sit down in the attending to the children of Israel, judging them from morning down till evening. So sometimes I wonder if he even have time to eat or have time for himself or his family. So then Jethro told him that no, don't do like that. It's not going to be possible. You will worn out yourself. Then he told him something. He said, delegate responsibility. He said, choose among you people from every clan those that are very, very good, then pray for them. Let the spirit that is on you be on them also, that they can handle all those matters, that they don't need to bring it to you. They will only bring matters that are tough so that you can handle it. So what he did was he trained and appointed capable men. So he needs to also know that you need to delegate people to do things. You don't need to do everything yourself. If up till now you don't have anybody that you can be able to delegate to do something, then you need to train people. You need to train people under you to be able to do things that you can at least assign for them, so that you can have time to attend to important, difficult matters. So in your own either ministry work, you need to also mentor others, so that you can be able to delegate responsibility. Reverse his energy for what only he could do. So that is the important thing. Reserve your energy. Reserve your energy. Look at things that are very delicate, that it needs you personally to attend to. Then choose those things and do. Then leave the other things that other persons can do. Delegate responsibility to them. Then they will handle it. I think it will reduce all your stress, and it will give you more time to rest, because rest is part of God's agenda for your life. So it is very important for you to understand that as you keep on going about your busy life, you need to know that you need to rest. You need to find time to rest for yourself. Delegate responsibility. That is where mentorship comes in. Mentorship is very important, because through mentorship you can be able to rest men and women that can be able to do what you are doing. So a time will come that you will just be supervising what they are doing. You will just be doing the important things that require your personal expertise to do. So it's very important to do that in your own journey. Then let's look at another person. We have David. David is the we used to call him. They used to mention that he is the weary worshiper. In Psalms 42 to 43, we can see the heart of the worshiper, the heart of the king in stress and in a difficult situation. David fought a lot of battle in his lifetime, and he has been traveling from one cave to another in the wilderness, running from Saul. A lot of pressure upon him, a lot of things that comes upon him. So all those things mounted into pressure on the life of David. If you read this Psalms, maybe have time and go through Psalms 42 to 43, you will see where he is speaking about the agony of his soul, the stress and the burnout that came upon him. David, a man after God's heart, also knew emotional distress. He cries also. He has times of sorrow. He said, why are you cast down, O my soul? And why are you in turmoil within me? Hope in God. So even the worshiper, the king, the warrior, the psalmist, the prophet also comes to a time that he is weary, he is burnt out, stressed because of the pressure of things that are on him. So he, in his own way, voiced out his stress and burnout and encouraged himself in the Lord. David was honest about his emotions. He did hide it. But some person in this our generation, we always tend to hide our feelings or emotion when we are stressed, and it builds up to something that is very harmful to us. So we need to understand that we are humans also. We need to have a rest for our soul, so that we can rest, we can have strength to carry on with what we are doing. He gave voice to his pain, but he also turned his heart towards God. We look at how David also in that Psalms, if you read it very well, we can see how David came back to himself again and consoled himself from the word of the Lord. He spoke to himself and he said that the Lord is my strength and my shield. So you see, stress and burnout are normal. You are not the only person that is going into this in this stress and burnout. We all face it one way or the other in one time of our life. But how you deal with it matters. How are you going to deal with the stress? Now, it is very important for you to know that your health is wealth. Your health is wealth. Now, this stress and burnout can progress into something that is not healthy to you, because if a stress and burnout continues, you are going to experience a lot of medical condition, which we don't pray to navigate to that levels. That is why it's good for us to know how we overcome those stress and burnout before it is too late. Before it is too late. In summary, I'm going to round up then and give the floor for some persons to just make some comment or ask some question, and also those online also will talk. So we started by explaining or saying that we need to rest. If you can't pick anything today, know that resting is part of your duty. It's not a waste of time, because the Bible says God made the heavens and the earth in the 6th day, and on the 7th day he rested. And we understood that rest is part of God's law. That is why he gave the Mosaic law that the children of Israel should rest on the Sabbath day. So it is God's agenda for you to rest. We understand that stress can come as a result of pressure from life activities, and when there's a lot of overlapping pressures from activities that we are doing every day, then we can navigate into stress and burnout. And we understand that we can be able to overcome stress and burnout using biblical principles. Like in the life of Elijah, we saw how God was able to help him through resting. God made him to rest under a very nice tree with cool breeze of the day, and he rested. And we saw a physical refreshment. God gave him something to eat, and he ate, he slept again, and waked up and ate again, and his strength came back, and God refreshes him spiritually also. So in our daily work, we need to rest, we need physical refreshment, then we need spiritual refreshment. These are the three key things we need to overcome stress. First is resting, which is physically. We will rest. Find time in your busy schedule to rest. Put it as part of your calendar. Resting should be an activity, not a waste of time. Make a day to rest. Then eat when you're supposed to eat, and eat a very good food. Don't just waste eating on junks. Eat something that is very healthy, and also make sure you return back to the Lord to refresh your spirit, just as the man of God was able to restore. If there is word from the Lord, then you will be refreshed. So you return back to your quiet time, you return back to the Lord and receive strength, so that you can be able to return back to you. So I think those are the biblical strategies that we can be able to overcome stress and burnout in our life. Are you going through stress? You can be able to see it from your own perspective. Those signs of stress and burnout emotionally. Are you depressed? Are you feeling a kind of guilt? Are you withdrawing from church activities, from people, from colleagues? So all those things are signs of stress and burnout. We need to act now. Health is wealth. When you are healthy, you can be able to create wealth. But when you are not healthy, you cannot create wealth. So I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to give the floor for others to start telling us what they have, or anything you want to share with us, or a question before we round up. Thank you. So the floor is open for our guests online.
All right, good evening.
Yes, you're
Thank you
welcome.
very much, Brother Timon, for this. I'm sorry I joined in late. I actually just got to know about this when I was scrolling through my WhatsApp, and I
Wow.
just decided to join. I think this came in timely. This came in at a point where truly I dread for the fact that tomorrow is Monday. I'm already stressed. So it's so it's already like registered in my head. So yes, thank you. I think there are times where we get used to. I don't know if we can say we are used to the stress already. It's a proper language to use to say, "Oh, it's fine. I'm used to the stress already. I'm adapted to the stress already." And I feel like sometimes you would think it's really working for you because it's like generally naturally your body adopts or naturally your brain just tells you it's fine up until it accumulates and then before you know it you break down completely. So I just want to hear your say about this. And secondly, what is your take on people who like coping unhealthy people who take unhealthy coping mechanisms to stress? When I talk about unhealthy coping mechanisms, some people would want to go and maybe to sleep with them, unless somebody singles to probably fornicate or adultery or whatever, just to distress, or people take alcohol, just to, they feel like coping mechanism for them. People take all manner of substance, drugs and all that. But and interestingly, I don't know, maybe it's have a way of working for them. But what's your take about this? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that question and observation. Actually, is this that is what is happening. We tend to believe that the stress we are used to them, but unfortunately, it's accumulating. I mentioned that if you don't choose a day for yourself to rest, your body will choose one day for you or more for you to do that. And that day that the body will be choosing, you may not like it because it will disrupt your activity. So definitely we may get used to it to some level, but there is a breaking point. Definitely we are going to break in one way or the other. Now sometimes our body can try to readjust to accumulate all this stress, but we have the breaking point. That is why the rate at which high blood pressure nowadays is very high because of all these unhealthy lifestyles. Because we know that high blood pressure and diabetes are usually a kind of conditions that can be able to be arrested using lifestyle changes. So it's part of the stress. When your body is stressed, it speaks out in a different ways that you cannot even understand that this is the way your body is communicating to you, that you are overworking me. So it can echoes in different ways, but at the end of the day, quite all right, we are strong, so we can be able to handle to a time, especially when we are young. But when we are reaching our age, let's say from 50 above, you will definitely know that now this body is no more cooperating with me again, because at then your body cannot be able to handle the pressure. So that is when things will start breaking down. So it's very important for us to not to allow ourselves to reach that level. Let's reserve, let's control, overcome those stress now, so that we can be able to have a better long life without sickness. Because you may have a long life with sickness, but that is not what we want. We want us ourselves to live like, when you see a person in his 70, he will just be an old person, but he doesn't have any terminal disease or any medical condition. It's just sound and healthy. So you see, it's a kind of a reflection of how you live your early age, how you are able to handle your stress. So your responses to medical condition also plays a role to how you manage your stress. You made mention of taking other ways. Definitely, yes. A lot of persons uses this kind of way to take care of stress, especially when somebody was sharing, a colleague was saying something. He says that alcohol is the only thing that he used to help himself to forget all the problems and the stress of this life. But just as most pain relievers are, pain relievers don't go direct to the where the pain is and go and attack it. No, that's not how it works. It goes and block the receptor of pain in your brain, so that you will not receive the signal that there is a pain coming from this angle. So you think as if the pain is not there, but the pain is still there. It's just tricking your brain. So that's why personally I usually don't even like taking pain reliever, because it's just like it's a deceit. It will just deceive you that the pain is not there, but the pain is there. So it's the same thing with all these other means outside God. If you take an maybe something that makes your nervous system down, so that you cannot be able to remember all those things that can bring stress and all those things, it is just for a moment, and when that sensation is over, you return back to your normal condition again. So your condition will always deteriorate. You are not improving it. Your condition will deteriorate. You are just postponing the evil day. So I don't think it's a good way for young persons that are out there listening. We need to understand that it's only in God that we can be able to find a lasting solution, because He made us. He knows how our body works. He knows how He wants us to live. So those kind of things are highly not good. We discourage it. Let's also come close and seek God's perspective for how to overcome the way. I think that will help us, and we can get a better output. Thank you very much. I don't know if there is any. Okay, I think we're having Basi Emena online. Basi, can you hear me? Yes. Yes, well, you're welcome. We are about to round up, but I think maybe you can also say one or thing. We discussed the overcoming stress and burnout, and we are just making contributions and questions. We just a sister just make some questions, and we are able to make some observation and reply. So if you have anything to add, we can take it another person before we round up. So the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry for joining this. Good afternoon, everyone. One thing we should understand is that stress is not inevitable in our lives as human beings. You cannot do without stress. You can see throughout the day, you're not stressed. You want to join business, the network is having issues, other engagements, and you still have to meet up there. It's still stress on for. But one thing is that we have to learn how to control it. Excess of stress leads to burnout. So the idea is, how can we control stress? And from the slide I'm saying, we are looking at biblical examples of stress and burnout, and how God responded to those instances that stress and burnout was experienced by people as of then. Currently, there are ways you can overcome stress and burnout. I believe that it's bigger that man has handled it. I don't want to go through everything over again. But we should be intentional about resting. We should be intentional about assigning responsibilities. We should be intentional about training people to be able to take various tasks. When we see that our plates are full, assigning responsibility is not a sign of weakness. Assigning responsibility is not a sign that people are going to steal your glory. But it's something to be efficient. Before the responsibilities have been assigned, we ensure that those people are assigned responsibilities to help our work, to make it more easier, that we train them effectively. From church work to our daily responsibility, down to our business starts and all of that. And it helps us to be more efficient. And also, we should take out time to rest. We should take out time to take care of ourselves. Also, good daily checkup. It will also help us to control and avoid stress and burnout. We should be intentional. We should be intentional about controlling stress and burnout in our day-to-day living. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Wonderful. I think Basi was part of my inspiration to speak on this topic. There was a time we were discussing. He said that he off his phone, him and his family are just there watching a movie. Say they're watching movie just to rest from the morning to evening. On his jane and everything was fine. I say it's been long he did that. So definitely it's good for us to give ourselves a treat sometimes. After a long busy week, we find time rest with our family. If you are married as couple, if you are not with friends, you can I think it's very important. I have Solomon Audu also raising hand, so I'm going to give you the floor now. Solomon Audu.
Thanks for this wonderful presentation, even though I'm joining thanks. My own part of the situation whereby in the place of work, should I say, the site you are managing, the kind of work you need your attention most at times. If you ask for a lift, you know that you definitely you need a rest. So you write even that yes, you want to take a week rest, but your land manager declined it, and you write again like 3 times before you get before you got an approval. How can you manage such kind of situation? You have a land manager that trusts you so much, and the kind of work it's a kind of work that you need your attention most. How can you manage such situation with your own personal rest so that you won't burn out at the end of the day? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. It's a very wonderful question. Actually, I'm part of that kind of situation. I think it's more than 5 years I've not gone for my annual leave. It's more than 5 years, because leave is not even a language that we discuss in the office again, because you can't even talk of going on leave. So you may just have maybe 1 day or 2 days off like that, but annual leave is a problem. So actually what I try to do is that, because I know it's not going to be possible because of the nature of work, so I try to personally create time from other places apart from my work. So I created time from other sources apart from my job, so that I can be able to rest. So maybe, I don't know if you are also engaged in church or engage in other activity after work, so you may try to explore those other activities to try and create time out of those ones, since this one is your personal, your main work, where I think you can do nothing about it. So maybe there are things that you can do, you can be able to change, like your activities after work. So you try to look at, okay, which one can I shelve so that I can get extra space to rest. So if you explore those avenues, I think you can be able to create time, because I always believe that, you see, we all have 24 hours in a day, but some persons have enough time in a day, while others, the 24 hours is not enough for them. So it's based on how you are using the time, but in everything there is a way out. So it's just a matter of sitting down, categorize your time, plan it. Okay, look at things you can change and things that you cannot change. So go with things you can change and make some allowance in those things through maybe delegation, through I think maybe suspending some other things. I think you can be able to create space for yourself. I don't know if there is anybody that wants to also add to what I just said concerning this question before we round up.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm using my phone, so I'm trying to difficult to raise up my answer.
Thank you. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
So there is 2 sides to it, my brother. And there is one technique I use to employ. And organic, you can testify to people and see. Even if it is for 10 seconds, even if it is for 15 minutes, it's a course of it. And that's why my other views, it's also slow. As much as I love myself in the office and I see it is funny, but
but it is very, very important. And why? Because if you eventually break down and somebody else will replace you, funnily enough, that person that will replace you will have the qualification, but they will give the person a job. Ogatima can testify to those times.
Yeah, it's true.
We have people in partner organizations that are strong because of activities, and they very proud their investment to other people and they affect them. And even the work people without trying to move back and move better in that sense. That's the important part. So if you don't take the rest that is very important, and your body one day to rest, and that day you might not want that day. Something very vital that might be happening, and you have no control over it. So it will be that because of you working and you're not meant for people to work in your absence. And when Oga Jesus came to our side that you're going to say that if obviously people to work in absence won't have opportunity to travel for activities. And why? Because to be like that is stand still, stand still in your absence. Probably that's why your manager is insisting that you don't want. You've not mentored people. You should be intentional about mentoring people. The first good we have as Africans is that we believe people will steal our job. What is that person that is coming takes the job from you? And so because of that, we just want to train people. If you train people and they're able to apportion as responsibilities, it might not impose some of the tasks. Then there is this principle in managing our work. Maybe that one will be a different discourse for another day. There are categories of assignments that you can assign, and there are categories of assignments that you should not assign. There are categories of assignments that you can postpone and keep on hold until when you get the chance to work on. It's a different principle entirely as pertaining management of workplace, management of business place as a leader. And so what you have people that you mentor, when you mentor people, and they can still setting a structure that whether your presence or absence, this kind of persons will be loyal to you, and you understand your work will flow even if you are out of work for even a month. You've already set up a structure to work effectively. Perhaps that could also be an angle that we can look at this stuff. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. So actually our time is fast spent. We are almost rounding up. So I think based on what we had, I think it's very important to find time to rest. Find time. What Basi just said, just getting a quick nap in the midst of your work is very important, because especially when you are working on the system, when you are looking at the laptop for like hours, your brain will start doing, your back of your head will start developing some kind of numbness or pain. So if you put your head down on the desk for like 10 minutes, it's refreshing your mind, refreshing your brain, and gives you strength to continue. So I think it's a very good strategy that we can employ to be resting in the midst of our difficulties, activities. So thank you very much. Thank you all for joining. We are going to stop here because of our time, and I think we have some recording for this. We're going to share with others that are unable to join, and maybe till our next session, it's going to be in 2 weeks time, where we're going to also come and discuss some interesting topics that will help us. It's very unfortunate that young people today could not be able to have to know how to access meetings online where they can discuss and also know what is going on. But we are changing the narratives. We are going to continue until we have many people joining, so that we can discuss things that will change our lives and will help us in our life. So thank you all for joining. I'm your host, Timan Ilya. Until the next time, can you just say hi as we close? You're there.